The best way to predict your future is to create it. These words from Abraham Lincoln hit home like a call to action. From the dusty log cabin he was born in, to the grand halls of the White House, Lincoln didn't just wait for life to unfold, he shaped it. In a world where many thought his chances were slim, Lincoln showed the world that our futures are ours to build. Born on February 12, 1809, in a modest log cabin in Hardin County, Kentucky, Abraham Lincoln rose from poverty to become the 16th President of the United States. Known as the Great Emancipator, he led America through its most divisive period, the Civil War, and ensured that slavery would be abolished forever. His journey is one of extraordinary resilience, unbreakable willpower, and a legacy that continues to change the world today. But Lincoln's story isn't just about a presidency or laws passed, it's about a man who, despite facing seemingly insurmountable odds, fought for freedom and justice. And his story will leave you wondering how far you would go to make the world a better place. The odds were stacked against Abraham Lincoln from the start. Raised in the rugged frontier, his family was poor, and the life he faced was full of struggle. The very land they lived on was unforgiving, and formal education was a rare luxury. But Lincoln was driven, something inside him wanted more, and he wasn't going to let his circumstances define him. At the age of 9, the unimaginable happened. Lincoln lost his mother to milk sickness. This deep loss would become the first of many hardships he would face, but Lincoln refused to let grief define him. His stepmother, Sarah Bush Johnston, encouraged him to read, and with every book, every hour spent by the firelight, Lincoln built his future. What could have been a life of quiet despair became the beginning of a legend. He wasn't going to let anyone tell him he couldn't rise above his humble beginnings. By his 20s, Lincoln was already known in his hometown as a self-taught lawyer. But what he did next took courage. He entered politics, at a time when the country was torn by division and questions of liberty. Despite his rough edges and lack of polish, Lincoln's passion and fierce commitment to justice made him a rising star in Illinois. Then, came the moment that would change his life forever. In 1858, Lincoln faced Senator Stephen A. Douglas in the famous Lincoln-Douglas debates. Lincoln, armed with his intellect and unwavering belief in equality, stood against the expansion of slavery in the new territories. He didn't win the Senate seat, but those debates catapulted him into the national spotlight, and soon, the country would know the name Lincoln. He had become a man with a mission. In 1860, the country was on the brink of collapse when Lincoln was elected president. Southern states seceded, and the nation was teetering on the edge of civil war. Yet, Lincoln's heart remained firmly focused on one thing: the preservation of the Union. When the Civil War broke out, Lincoln didn't flinch. He stood tall and did what no one thought possible. In 1863, the Emancipation Proclamation became a defining moment. He declared all slaves in Confederate states free, a bold, game-changing act that forever altered the course of history. Slavery's grip on America was finally broken, and Lincoln had taken the first step toward making this nation truly free for all. And then, in 1865, he did the unimaginable. With his tireless efforts, Lincoln saw the passage of the 13th Amendment, forever abolishing slavery in the United States. The chains were broken. Lincoln had not only saved the Union, but he had also set the country on a new path, one of freedom and equality for all. But even legends have their burdens. Lincoln's personal life was not without its struggles. He married Mary Todd in 1842, a strong, politically sharp woman with whom he shared both his joys and his hardships. Together, they had 4 sons, but their family was plagued with heartbreak. The death of their son, Willie, in 1862, from typhoid fever, devastated both Lincoln and Mary. But Lincoln, instead of breaking, found in his grief the fuel to keep fighting. He was not just fighting for a nation, but for the soul of America, for the generations that would come after him, including his own sons. Lincoln's life was not a smooth ride. From fierce criticism of his decisions during the war to challenges from within his own cabinet, Lincoln had no shortage of enemies. The war itself was a constant pressure, with generals failing him and battles that seemed never-ending. But what truly set Lincoln apart was his unshakable resilience. He didn't just meet adversity, he embraced it. His famous Gettysburg Address in 1863, after one of the bloodiest battles in American history, was not just a speech, it was a declaration that freedom was worth fighting for, that the Union was worth saving, and that human equality would prevail. Against the backdrop of bloodshed and division, Lincoln's leadership stood as a beacon of hope, proving that courage in the face of darkness can change the world. When Lincoln was tragically assassinated in 1865, just days after the Union victory, America lost a leader whose legacy would never fade. The country mourned, but Lincoln's vision had already reshaped the nation. The Union had been saved, and slavery was abolished, but perhaps Lincoln's most lasting impact was in how he redefined freedom and equality. He didn't just create laws, he created a nation of principles. His vision laid the groundwork for generations of people to fight for justice and equality. His words continue to echo in the hearts of those who strive to make a difference. Lincoln's dream lives on, in every movement for freedom and dignity across the world. Abraham Lincoln's life was nothing short of extraordinary. From a log cabin to the White House, from a self-taught lawyer to the president who ended slavery, Lincoln's journey is a testament to the power of determination. It's a reminder that no matter where you start, you can create your own future. Lincoln's legacy tells us that greatness comes not from privilege, but from the courage to fight for what is right, no matter the cost. So, what will you do with your life? How will you shape the future? Abraham Lincoln didn't just change history, he created it. And you can too.